Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Hardcore Season 2 world. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. In this episode, we're going to fix Jerry because Jerry is broken. He was broken in the world download and now I aim to fix him. And I've actually done a little bit of that already. I have converted all of the various different types of wall stone. You know how if you connect a block to a wall, it suddenly changes its shape, and that can trigger observers and all that nonsense, but it did mean that we were only crafting flight duration 1 rockets because the wall stone was being a bit buggy and it wasn't really activating the various different modes of crafting down below in the redstone down there. So now that I've changed it to actual lines of redstone, the difference is that it's a lot more consistent because the pistons actually push the redstone blocks and then they retract them. There's nothing getting left behind awkwardly or anything like that, and that does actually result in the system working how it should. Like, yeah, there we go. The fireworks are finally starting to back up now, and that would cause this crafter to eventually lock up, and then these hoppers can fill up with paper, and then once the paper overflows from the Flight Duration 1 rocket crafter over there, we'll finally start getting paper in the Flight Duration 2 rocket crafter, and that is also going to be the same for the Flight Duration 3 rockets as well. We'll actually start getting those rockets in this world. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah! It would be nice if the redstone worked as it was supposed to first time around. The other change I've made in order to fix Jerry, our redstone creeper, is that I've extended all of the ticks on these redstone repeaters to 2 ticks rather than 1. And that's because I think the repeaters were activating the droppers below just ever so slightly too fast, and it was actually resulting in blocked up crafters. That's the wrong crafter. There we go. This could theoretically be a blocked up crafter because it would be like this or something. The items wouldn't sort in the correct way, and it would mean that the system was just jamming, which is not ideal because then I have to unjam it every now and then. So I'm hoping that changing the ticks on these repeaters will actually fix Jerry in that regard as well, but I haven't tested yet to see whether that is actually the case. Luckily for me, I did actually just go out and dig up 12 shulkers full of sand, so I should be able to test the TNT crafting mechanism of Jerry, our redstone creeper here, very soon. But Jerry is supposed to be a smart creeper, and I don't think he's quite smart enough just yet. Really, I want to be giving Jerry TNT back if I don't want to use it. So if I have a shulker box of TNT, I can give it back to him. If I have just individual blocks of TNT, I can give that back to him as well. And I also need a method of getting shulker boxes back into the system ready to be loaded. So that's what I'm going to try and do in this episode. We're going to try and improve Jerry, everyone. Jerry's going to be made even better. So let's just go ahead and build a nice little return station for him here. This should be pretty simple redstone to do. I've pretty much already done it over there in a different format. Like I've got the pistons pushing observers into place, into pistons, which are in turn firing those pistons there, and that is what breaks the shulker box. So when I place a shulker box of TNT over here and it empties, these pistons can break it, and then the shulker box can be recycled elsewhere. And to make it obvious that this is actually a TNT return station, I've modelled it after a block of TNT. So I'd say that is a pretty good representation. We've got the red on the top, we've got the white in the middle, and the rings as well. It almost makes it look like there is something potentially written there. It is meaningful. The design is there with purpose, and we just need to be able to take a reading from the shulkers while they're in place. Those comparators can go straight into redstone torches that are in turn powering some sticky pistons. Oh, there we go. I've been pushed off. And that can go straight into some observers. Although I actually want this a block higher, don't I? So let's change that. There we go. Get those blocks in there. Pistons there. And this way I can get repeaters in there. And then my observers can go in place there. We don't want the pistons to drop the trapdoors, so we're just going to raise these to 2 ticks each. That should be more than enough. And that way, if I stick a shulker box of some materials in there, it will break without any issues. Yep, and it takes the trapdoor back. Very good. Let's take that back from the hopper. And now we need to sort the TNT out of any other items that might accidentally be put into the system. But that should be easy enough. Let's just lead some hoppers into that chest there for now. And then, just below, we can put a generic auto sorter into place. So we can just get our filter items in there, and our item filter that we need, TNT, just there. And then that way, the only thing that should end up in this chest here is shulker boxes. I'm sure we can work out a way of moving those shulkers elsewhere within the Jerry system, and we can get them back, or we can feed them into Jerry himself so that he can load them up with more TNT. And I think the best way of feeding the TNT straight back into Jerry's system himself is to actually just create a bit of a hopper line. That's the item sorter up there. So it's just as simple as taking this hopper line up there, I guess. Now, can I add lights to this? Maybe I can. Maybe I can have some lights to indicate the fact that the slots are available. Or should I have them light up as I have shulker boxes of TNT in the system? Hang on. Let's just block the hoppers before we do anything else, so we don't accidentally break the system. If I have some observers here, maybe I can hook something up here. Get our repeaters in. Now, if I was to put my shulker box in there, well, the first thing it did was get a bit confused. That's no good. Oh, that's fine. Just put those there, and then that way. Hopefully the theory works this time. Are you going to break instantly? Yes. We can shove a shulker box of something in here, and it won't break instantly. This is taking too long. What? Excuse me? Has activated all of the lamps. For some reason. Place it against the wall. Nothing happens to the light. Okay. Why is this redstone just not working the way I want it to? Why is it breaking? It's just broken again. Now the trapdoors are stuck. Okay. Let's try this again. The light's on. And now the light turns off. Yes! That was far too difficult. Why is that still there? Alright, I think I've taken the nuclear option here. I've incorporated lots of glass because I know that redstone can't travel through glass, and thus we shouldn't have any weird bud powering that doesn't make any sense. So, if I put that shulker box there, the redstone lamp turns off because it's in use. I cannot use that, and then once the shulker box goes away, the lamp turns back on, meaning that it is ready for me to put a shulker box against the wall there. It finally works. It took way too long to get that sorted. This means that we finally have a method of feeding Jerry back some of his own TNT, which I'm sure he'll be very thankful for. Just as long as he doesn't vomit it back to me in the explosion form. Otherwise, we'll be just fine. That leaves us with one final space for us to put some kind of redstone machine without accessing any UIs. And I think I'm going to make this one the shulker box collection system for when I want to take my sand boxes back from over there. So what I want to happen is I want the shulker boxes to break over here once they're empty, and I want them to be transported over here while they'll be dispensed against this wall here or something, and then I can just mine them and take them back and go out for another mining trip. Don't know why I'm going to install lights in it, but it will have lights, given that everything else in here has lights. And given that this is going to be for our sand shulker boxes, I'm just going to go for a bit of a sand theme here. Place. So if I have some of my shulkers in these dispensers, I should be able to just get them back by powering the dispensers, and I'll get access to as many shulker boxes as I try to take. We'll put those back in though, just for testing purposes, while I try and get the redstone figured out for this. Going to use the copper bulbs in that one. I know I've tried to use them there, and we've not actually used them anywhere else in our redstone, but here, we're going to use them. The reason why is because I can power them, and then potentially, when I take a shulker box back, we can have it automatically be depowered by like an observer or something. And I think the idea is that I would fill these dispensers with shulker boxes, and then I could just take the amount that I want to harvest sand for. So it could be 3, it could be 6, it could be 12, it could be 1, it could be 8 or 7. And then I could put those against the wall over there once I'm done filling them. And then those shulker boxes would be recycled, and they'd end up back over here again. Actually, you know, I've changed my mind. We're not going to use the copper bulbs for this. We're going to use the redstone lamps. I don't know why I'm going against what I have as the theme for everything else, when I can just lower the buttons to only power one redstone lamp, as opposed to just having the button on the lamp itself, because that would power 3. But if I had it there, then I only power 1, so that's really what I wanted, really. So that's what we're going to do. And that way we don't have some weird copper bulbs over there and nowhere else. I think this is dead simple redstone. I've just got comparators out the back going into repeaters, which I think actually powers the block that they're on. So if I press this button, I get nothing because that doesn't work. What does a dispenser do if it already has blocks there? Does it fire? Genuine question. Just so I know that I can't just do that. Okay. It can't fire. So, if I'm right, yes, the shulker boxes are still in here. So, if I do that, ta-da, I get my shulker boxes. Whichever button I press, of course they actually need to be in the dispensers for that to work. But, if I was to put in... Well, if I was to put in another shulker box into this one on the right, and that would be the only one that I hadn't yet taken, then if I press one of these buttons, nothing would come out of there, and we would still have that in here, correct? Yes, there we go. Awesome. I like how that works. That's really simple redstone. It's literally just a comparator and a piece of redstone dust and a dispenser. So now I just need a method of actually getting the shulker boxes into our dispensers here. And to get the shulker boxes into the system, a simple drop of elevator will do the trick. Yeah, that works just nicely. I've hooked up the hopper lines to our dropper elevator here for our shulker boxes, so if I was to simulate these shulker boxes with some dirt, so let's just throw them all in very haphazardly. They'll get picked up by the hoppers that I have here, and we've got item filters sorting out the TNT anyway, so we're not breaking Jerry over there. But what we are getting is dirt. Nice. Ah. Hello. That's not allowed. You guys have murdered one of my villagers. But we're actually getting dirt over here, so that means that the sand shulker box reclaiming system does in fact actually work. And if I was to press that button, if that had been a shulker box in there, we would have gotten it. Honestly, the lights for this one feel a little bit pointless, but I like having them, so we're going to keep them. So we now have a reclamation system for our sand shulker boxes, and we also have a TNT input system for TNT that I have not used. But the last thing I want to add to Jerry the Creeper, to make him truly smart, is to add a way for him to switch modes. You see how he's crafting individual stacks of TNT at the moment and not shulker boxes? I want to be able to, I don't know, press this note block here and then have Jerry switch modes from just crafting ordinary stacks to entire shulkers of TNT. And I think it's going to be really quite simple for that. It's literally just going to be locking a hopper. Then we'll start getting our shulker boxes. And the great thing about note blocks is that you can literally get a redstone signal just from pointing an observer at it. And I think we also need a method of telling which mode Jerry is currently in, and we can do that with a couple of copper bulbs. So we'll put TNT in that one and redstone in that one. It should be as simple as lighting up one of the copper bulbs and linking it all up with some redstone so that when we get a redstone signal from that note block down there, we're going to hook up some more observers. This line of redstone will activate, and then which copper bulb is lit will alternate from one between the other. So let's just get all of these observers in. You know what, we are going to use an actual shulker box in the item frame here. And you can just see that one of those copper bulbs is actually lit and the other is not. And if I click this note block here, they will alternate and change from one between the other. And we can also take this observer signal downstairs as well. Whoop! I've just fallen through a hole. And I should just need to connect that observer line to this sticky piston here, which can push this redstone block against this hopper and lock it, so that if this hopper is locked, the TNT goes straight into our shulker loader just over there. And that mode switching system has been rather expensive. It's just cost me 59 observers. Oh, I need more quartz in this world. However, if I press this note block, that will change to shulker box mode. And if I go back down here, I should see that I was going to say, I should see that the redstone block has been pushed against this hopper, but nothing has happened. Okay, so press the note block. That sends a signal down here. Oh, it's double firing. Why isn't that just a... I don't think it's double firing. It might just be extending for too long. Why is it not dropping the block? Oh my gosh, they can't do it vertically. That is so weird. Okay, so apparently observer chains can't make a sticky piston drop its block if it's from a vertical direction. It needs to be done horizontally. Why is that a thing? I have no idea. So we're gonna stick an observer there. Okay, I think this should have fixed it this time. Let's see what it does. So, okay, I press the note block, and what happens? Does it drop it? It drops it. Okay, excellent. Let's just test that again, see if that wasn't a fluke. Because my redstone seems to be having some troubles today. Ta-da! It retracted it. And one more time, just for good luck, it moved it back. Okay, we are swapping modes, everyone. After all of that redstone, I think I might actually be done with Jerry the Creeper. I think he actually works as he's intended to now. He's smart. I can switch his mode, I can feed him sand, I can get rockets from him, he can give me sand shulker boxes, and I can give him TNT back into the system. I don't know what else I would need him to do for me. Did I end up putting a minecart under here? I did. Okay, we don't need that anymore, because we're not feeding him items from this block anymore. So Jerry, I think you've got enough individual stacks of TNT, so let's switch you over to the shulker box mode and we'll feed you some sand. And now that Jerry is crafting all of that sand into TNT, I think that we should go right ahead and decorate him properly. I mean, I do think that this looks pretty cool here at the moment, but it looks seriously unfinished. There's a lot of exposed sky. We need to change that. So, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse, everyone. So let's give Jerry a complete makeover and get building. Welcome back everyone, we have completed the interior of Jerry the Redstone Creeper, but we have not finished the exterior. This ugly thing, I'm going to talk about that later. But the inside, I want to talk about the inside. So, I've gotten a nice wall here, we've got some art. I like to think that the villagers themselves painted this and stuck it up there. We've got a nice little landscape there. They've got their own little faces there, and then they've got a creeper. That's Jerry there. Maybe when Jerry was a child. Who knows? They're thinking about very dark things, honestly. There's a creeper there, there's a dead dude there, and then there's a thing of mass destruction over there. Which brings me to another piece of lore that I've added to Jerry the Redstone Creeper. So, Jerry is in fact a very big creeper, and if Jerry was to detonate, there would be a rather sizable crater in Cherryville. So what I've done to try and dampen the effects of that explosion, if it were to ever go off, is to have some giant water tanks surrounding it. So I've got a giant water tank there, and I've got another one just there. And if Jerry was to explode, all of the water would be released and it would dampen the explosion, and as you know, in Minecraft, water just negates the explosion entirely. So, Cherryville would potentially survive such a nuclear bomb going off right in the centre of the town, or the city, because Cherryville is going to be a city at some stage. That's what I plan for it to be. But in order to prevent such a humongous catastrophe from happening in Cherryville, I have decided to go ahead and waterlog the entire place. We also have some more villagers working away in here. We've got grindstones, we've got blacksmith tables, smithing tables, we've got blast furnaces, so that means that we get toolsmiths, blacksmiths, and weaponsmiths all within Jerry the Redstone Creeper over here, and they're all conducting their own little research, doing little things, making sure everything's right and not about to explode, because, as we all know, if Jerry was to explode, that would not be good news. Every safety precaution is being undertaken here. But there is one thing that we have yet to do with the interior here, and I've gotten these weird little white glass tubes in the water there, and What I'm going to put in there is a charged creeper, one on each side, and those tubes are just water streams, really. And what I'm hoping to have is a charged creeper just sort of floating through the water stream, just to add a little bit of movement to the sides, and I think that could be really cool. Now, the exterior is mostly done, it's just this central tower that I'm wanting to build, but that's kind of where I'm stuck on at the moment. I think I will just keep on keeping at it and just adding things until I like what I'm looking at. I feel like that's kind of what I do to build. I just keep on building things until I like what I'm looking at. And while this tower has turned out rather poorly so far, what I really hope for it to be is a viewpoint for Cherryville itself. I want to be able to stand up here and, hang on, let me just erase the inhabitants because they are a bit of a danger. I want to be able to stand up here and look out far over Cherryville and be able to see everything I build here in the future. And I want it to feel purposeful. I don't want to be standing on buildings to see the entirety of Cherryville. I want to be able to view all the way out to the sea over there and maybe over to that sea, and I'm actually quite close to this sea. It's a work in progress, but I think we might have something cooking here. I just have to actually cook the meal, as opposed to just building a staircase and thinking, oh, hang on, this isn't really quite turning out how I want it to. And I think the main issue is that the viewing platform isn't high enough. I do feel like it's potentially a proportions issue, and the tower just needs to be a little bit taller. But hey, we'll work that out at some point in the future. But the viewing platform is actually why I have this random walkway on top of the building itself. I'm actually going to connect this to the mountain over here once I'm done, and then potentially we could have villagers moving up and down here, or maybe this could just be a route for ourselves, but just something that would add to the place, I feel, is a method of getting up to the viewing platform without it feeling like I've done something weird. But just over here, I have easy access, for now at least, to the water streams that I have in the fish tanks next to Jerry the Redstone Creeper on the inside. So I hope to unleash a charged creeper in both of these water streams, and hopefully I'll be able to see them clearly from within. And they'll just be floating around and minding their own business, I guess. Woo! I used an ender pearl to get out, and there's actually now an endermite in the water stream. Oh dear, where is he now? Is he going to come around the corner? There he is! You go, buddy, you go. Now you might be wondering, what two charged creepers am I talking about? Well, I have constructed a charging device. This device is actually in the world download, but it's here. And I have two charged creepers. So we've got a water source block just there, and that's the dispenser, and it can pull the water away when lightning strikes that lightning rod, and then the creepers will fall, and they'll end up straight in here. They'll be safe from further lightning strikes, and I should be able to just pull them straight out with a minecart. So that's good news, I guess. These two creepers have actually been struck by lightning though, so they're probably hurting quite a bit. So let's just break that. Throw that. Okay, I don't know if that guy actually saw me or not. I don't think they see me. In fact, let's just throw another one for good luck and close that up. Okay, so these two charged creepers should definitely be at full health now. That's good. They won't die from suffocating in the block on the way over to Jerry. Speaking of, I guess it's time that we build ourselves a nice little minecart rail track. So we now have this massive roller coaster taking the creepers all the way over to Jerry the Redstone Creeper all the way over here. And we do have an activator rail at the other end here. So once we get the charged creeper into place, it should be ejected and it will stand on this block where I can knock it down and it will float straight into the system. And hopefully we don't have any issues. So let's see if this works or if I'm going to regret my life choices. Clearly I'm going to regret my life choices. Hang on. Let me get this minecart. There we go. Okay, here goes attempt number 2. Hopefully with no regrets this time. We've got one. We've got one. That's scary. What's he gonna do? Is it gonna go in without any issues, maybe? That would be nice. Look at him going. I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna follow it. Okay. Down it goes. Where is it is the question. That's not good. Okay. Okay. Just put that there. Right. How do I... Ah. Okay. Break. This. Is it... Oh! Okay. I think we're good. We just need to break this block now, and it's in. The creeper is in. Oh, that's worked. That's totally worked. Let's break this minecart. We don't need that anymore. Oh. That's good. So, Jerry now has a real creeper inside of him. So, how does that look? Is it good? I can't really see it too much. Where is it? There he is. There is the creeper. I don't think it's got a special name. I think it's just called Special Little Guy or something like that. But, yeah, it's a little bit of interest. A little bit of movement inside of the tanks. I like it. Now, is it going to go up the soul sand elevator without any issues? Maybe. Please go up. Please go up. I beg of you. Oh. Okay, it's caught. It's definitely in the soul sand elevator, but it's not pushed enough into the side there. Is that an issue? Is it just going to be stuck there forever? Or can it wander into the elevator itself? If it can wander in by itself, it's fine. There we go. Perfect. So, it looks to me like that creeper has a perfect tube. It can just float along for the rest of its life. I am never opening that thing again. I'm so happy that worked. Now on to the next one. Right, I've learned my lesson. This time we are not going to use a full glass block there. We will use a stone slab, and that should prevent the creeper being able to somehow get onto the rails. It shouldn't be able to pathfind onto the rails anyway, but I'm being paranoid here. And I think I'm allowed to be in scenarios like this. Okay, here we go. Creeper number 2. Hopefully this doesn't have any issues like the last one did, although the last issue was very simple to solve. There it goes. You can do it, creeper. Don't try and reject it. Come on. Please say it's gone in. It's stuck again. Oh, for goodness sake. Why? Ah. Put that there. Really, I want a glass block there so that I can see what the situation is. It seems that that stone slab was not the way to go about things. But if I break this stone slab, the minecart should move again. Hopefully. Am I looking at it? It's in. Okay. Oh. Okay. Right, and now... Oh my goodness, I thought it was about to look at me. Right. So I can just do that. Okay. That creeper's in as well. Excellent. Let's close that off. There we go. Very nice. We now have a second creeper to keep Jerry company. And there he goes, making his way around. I think this one's going to be more interesting to look at because he actually comes up close to the glass window in 2 areas, whereas with this creeper it's only one that you can see him perfectly in the windows there. But hopefully... Oh my goodness, he's already almost at the end, so this tube might even be a better tube than the other one. I think that's the salt sand elevator, literally just there. Let's see, is it gonna go up? Please tell me it goes up. There it goes. That was quick. Okay, so it looks like both tubes actually work. Oh, that's perfect. And the creepers aren't dying anywhere, they're not drowning. They're just being swept along in their own little merry way. And it just looks so fun. Oh my goodness, it actually looks like there's not even a window there. That's trippy. But it looks like we actually have both of the creepers in place. That's perfect. That actually couldn't have gone any better. I mean, yes, the minecarts could have behaved the way I was wanting them to, but those creepers went straight in. And they're just moving around. They're having fun. This is perfect. You know, I do actually really like being able to add little bits of energy to builds like this. Just little bits of movement. Yes, it's just a mob wandering around, but it just looks so good. It adds so much to a build sometimes. Just have a little bit of actual life in the scenery. So glad I decided to do this. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to subscribe, leave a like and comment down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!